Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. I don't want you to get too excited. At the moment, we're not actually going to do this, but I just wanted to give this as an upcoming thing that's coming. I picked up this Daiwa 7000C at the flea market this weekend, and it's missing the bail off of it, and it's missing the handle off of it. And it appears that I may actually have acquired a handle for it. From Chris. He says he may have one that will fit it, and if he does, then that would be a nice thing to have. But since this is missing the bail assembly, I've decided what I'm going to do is try to turn this into one of these PUM conversions. And it's going to require replacing this part. Well, also at the same flea market for another $1, there was a Zebco reel that was just about exactly the same size. It was an SW Sport SW80. And this reel was unsalvageable. If you look inside it, see the mud that was caked inside it? Well, inside the spool was completely caked up full of mud. Inside the housing, when I finally managed to get the screws out, was completely caked up. So out of the whole thing, the only thing that was worth salvaging off of the entire reel is a few gears, the axle shaft, the balance weight, and the bail. So if I'm going to see if I can't figure out a way to use these parts to convert this over to a PUM. That's a bailless pickup, and see what we can do with this. Everything else on this reel seems to work beautifully. Of course, it's out of balance without the bail, but it works nice. The drag works. Everything on it works. So I'm going to see if I can get this up and running. My $1 Daiwa reel. We'll see how that turns out. As for today's project, some of you may recall this reel that we worked on a week or so ago. And I took it back to Charlie and we discussed it. And Charlie would like to see if I can't make this reel operate without having the bail in it, or the line. So I think I'm gonna leave the rail in it as a guide for the line, but the rest of this is all going to come out. The worm drive is going to come out, the bar is going to come out, and we're going to turn this into what I believe is going to be a nice little conventional non-level winding reel. So let's get started. We're going to take out these two screws again. These are the ones on the magnet. Okay, both screws are stuck to the magnet plate, so that should be able to stay there just fine. Let's take these two screws out now. This should be a very simple conversion. Lift this out. Okay, we're going to keep the magnet drive functional. All right. We want to remove the bar. We want to remove, let's take out this screw. And now we need my jeweler screwdrivers, because we have these micro tiny screws that we need to take out. Okay, that's got those. And now we've got one screw here. All right, once we've taken that screw out, careful not to lose it because it's small. We're going to lift this out. And let's see what we can do. There we go. That removes the gear. Okay. I definitely want to remove this bar. Take that out. Now we want to remove this guide assembly out of it. Could be a 10. It is. And that should allow us to remove the pawl. There we go. Pawl is out. All right, now all we have to do is get this out. I think we're going to need to leave the worm gear in order to retain this bar, because the C-clips fit onto it. So we're going to take one C-clip off. And so this is the one we want to take off, or the other one. This one looks like the simpler of the two. Okay, we took that clip off. Take this washer off so we don't lose it. All right, now that should allow us to slide the gear out. By sliding the gear out, we can take that out. And now we're just going to put this right back in. We're going to leave it on the bottom side, like so. Having the worst time lining that hole up. There. Okay, it's in that hole. I'll hold that one in. Let's come back to this side and see if we can line it up. Well, something is not lining up properly. Okay, I'm going to take it back out. Okay, we got to get this to fit right there. Down. See how it fits? Oh, I bumped the camera. Okay, see how it fits right down inside that hole? Well, what's happening is it keeps fitting like that. And it's not dropping that last little bit it needs. Okay, let's try this one more time. All right, we got this side in. I'm going to hold it in place, hopefully, with my finger while I slip this one in place. Okay, now it fits on the plastic washer. Now it fits on this C-clip. There. Okay, that's got that locked in. Now that carrier is gone out of the picture, so is the bar, and now it will work as a conventional wind reel. Okay, we're going to sit this back in here. How much of this equipment do we need to go back in? We don't need this chewed up gear anymore. Or do we need it to help this set right? Nope, we don't need that gear in there at all. This will set just beautifully without it. All right, so we're going to set that there. We're going to put our tiny screw back in, and I'm going to use a dab of grease on the tip to help hold it in place. And let's screw it in place. Well, try one more time. There we go. Should have two of these. These two. Oh, still on the screwdriver. This one goes back in here, like so. Except it's not meshing properly. Oh, I'm trying to mesh it up to the wrong holes. I wonder. No, those are the right holes. Okay, those go there and those go there, but that's not lining up with those, so I've got it wrong. It goes this way. There. Okay. Then the spring goes in. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta put our clicker back in. Last time I took this apart, I had no idea what this part was. Now I know it's the clicker for this ratchet right here. Okay. set this guy in place. And this little clicker goes there, like so. And these screws are so tiny. Let's try to put the first one in. Here we go, got the first one started. I had contemplated doing watch repair, and I decided that would be like a bull in a china shop. I'm way too klutzy. I'm certainly not a good candidate as a neurosurgeon. Okay, I'll flip this back over onto here like so. All right, now this spring is going to go in here, and this clicker assembly goes into this side over here. So it goes like this. Okay. So we get everything aligned. Let's see here. And flip it over and look down here and make sure that you've got your holes aligned. Once you've got your holes aligned, you can go ahead and put these two long screws in. All right, let's get the holes lined up. There they go. Get the first screw in. And we'll put the second screw in. Okay, now we're ready to put our magnet back in. And it goes with the magnet facing towards the front, because even though this doesn't have the level wind anymore, the magnetic cast feature will still work just fine. Okay, let's rotate this around. We've got to get it to where the magnet sits on these two plastic posts there and there, like so. All right, that should hold one in place. Well, that's being held in place, lined up. Let's see if we can line the other side up. All right, there's the first one. Now I should be able to just reach in and take my screw off of the second one. Now let's install it. Trying to sit it where you can see it. We'll put it to the top, like so. All right, that part's done. We're going to go ahead so that it doesn't get lost. And we're going to put this pawl into here. Put the cap back on it. I think the pawl will stay in. Yep, it does. Okay. All right, so those are the parts we removed from this. Okay, now we're going to slide the spool in like so. Remember, it's going to be spring-loaded now. Okay. Make sure we're going to go down and down so that everything is the same. Put the spool back in. Put this back in with everything down this time. And reinstall the screws. All right, so now we've done the conversion, and this will operate as a conventional wind reel now rather than as a level wind reel. And the only difference is, if you look at it, with everything removed. We've got, you can still see the old worm gear underneath, and no, it no longer turns. And you can see the 2 holes right here where the bars were. And aside from that, everything clear. It's ready to be fished as a conventional reel. And it's smooth as glass, ready to go. So if you like what you saw here today, please hit the subscribe button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button and tell me what you didn't like. Granted, I know that this is not the world's best reel, but it's important for Charlie, and so we did it for Charlie. And he said he'd never be able to move it as a parts reel, but if I converted it like this, he said he'd be able to sell it in his shop. So there we have it, the Ocean Master. What is this thing? Ocean Master OMC400 revisited, and it is now functional. The drags work very nicely. Free spool works, and it's ready to go fishing again. If you'd like to see further videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.